Hi, everybody. Fully Threaded Radio. Thanks for clicking in again. It's Eric Dudas with you. As always, there are numerous big headlines in the fastener industry, but the eyes of the world are on Houston. We're recording in the immediate aftermath of the big hurricane. For some firsthand reaction to that, we decided to tap our good friend Baer in Yarborough. He's with Spring, Bolt, and Nut right down there in Houston. A lot of you have seen some of the photos he's posted up there on Twitter. Baron, thanks for clicking in with us. How are you hanging in there?
You know, thankfully we're hanging in there pretty okay. I haven't had anyone directly hurt by the flooding, but it is quite eye-opening.
Absolutely. It's obvious from some of these photos. Now, the good news is that it looks like Spring, Bolt, and Nut is at least on the very edge of it. We see the water there near your parking lot, and you've got some people from the neighborhood using that as a temporary, respite area. You're operating on a skeleton crew now, so good for you, but some of your nearby neighbors haven't been so fortunate.
Yeah, we still have some of our, because we're surrounded by a neighborhood, we still have a couple of cars that, they didn't have any place to go. So on Sunday, we came by and opened it up, and we knew the guy who owned a whole lot of the property. So we informed him, hey, any cars that need to come in here, bring them in. We're going to keep our gate unlocked. So we actually just opened up the gate and informed everyone, hey, if your car is going to flood, why don't you push it over here to keep it from getting even more damage?
Right. And as we said, Spring, Bolt, and Nut is operating again on a skeleton crew. What do you make of some of our fastener friends out there? What are you hearing?
A whole lot of people, just because I'm trying to open up as business as usual, doing some quoting, talking to customers, talking to vendors such as platers and things like that. So a whole lot of people, they're waiting to open up tomorrow or the next day. They haven't opened up yet. You're getting a whole lot of, when you send out an email, you got a whole lot of forwarding emails like, hey, not opened up today. We'll be opened up at a later date. A whole lot of voicemails. So a whole lot of people are trying to get started up. You get maybe a person that, you call him on his cell and he's like, hey, I can get you a quote as soon as I can, but facility isn't opened up today. So it's pretty intense out there still.
Right. Now there was one photo of you in some kind of relief center. What were you doing there, Baron?
Oh, my purple poncho. So yeah, I was at Spring High School, which has become a shelter for, people who've, might have lost just their house or lost everything. So I was directing traffic. My wife was helping out with the children and all the dogs. So there's, you don't think about it, first priority, of course, is the people, but, a whole lot of people have animals that they're having to also get rescued. So my wife was helping out there. And the photo was actually just me outside directing the traffic, telling, volunteers where to park, people dropping off other people they just rescued, where to get them to. And thankfully, a whole lot of the people I was directing were people dropping off goods, dropping off water, food, things of that nature. So we've definitely seen a whole lot of help from the community, just people doing what they can to help out their Houston brethren.
Well, there's lots of stories like that are floating around. We don't need to go over those further here on this podcast, but good for you for pitching in. And it's too early to really estimate the aftermath of this, but perhaps in a future episode we'll talk with you again, and maybe we can even band together and help out some of our fastener friends who haven't been as fortunate this spring. But good for you, Baron, and sure do appreciate you giving us your impressions in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Harvey.
Anytime, we do what we can out down here.
Baron Yarborough, Spring, Bolt, and Nut from Houston, Texas.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you buy, sell, manufacture, import, or otherwise think about fasteners, this is the podcast for you. We're so glad you clicked in, everybody. Speaking to you from higher ground, fortunately, it's Eric Dudas. I'm joined, as always, by Brian Musker. Brian, it's kind of a serious thing. I mean, we chuckle about it, but it's very good to be high and dry at this time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. I can imagine. I'll be thinking of it in the freezing cold of winter when we have the benefit of being way up north, okay, or the disadvantage. But I'm glad I'm not anywhere near Houston at the moment.
We just heard from our friend Baer in Yarborough down there, and he's in the midst of it. Of course, there are so many fastener people down there. A lot of our friends, Spring, Bolton, Nut, one of them. So many, Bri. USA Fastener Group's down there. Of course, one of our title sponsors, Stelfast, has a big facility down there.
Yep. Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Hopefully it'll all get sorted out and the water will drain away and then we'll get back to normal again. I think it'll take a while.
Of all things, last episode we had Jonathan Coach from Industrial Metal Finishing right there. I did talk to him and he's okay. Of course, he's battling through it like so many other Texans, South Texans in this case.
Yeah, I think Lindstrom has a facility down there too, don't they?
They are in Grand Prairie, Lindstrom's facility, so that's just a little bit west of Dallas. They're a little bit north of the Devastation. But yes, Lindstrom has coverage down in the Texas area as well.
Okay, just checking. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of people we know in Houston, actually. Hope they're all good.
Lots of fully threaded listeners in Houston and in the Texas area in general, and the Southwest in general. Well, let's face it, the fastener industry listens to Fully Threaded. We're so glad that you're listening in, everybody. This is episode 119, and I think the entire industry will be feeling the effects of this massive weather event for a long time. I don't know if it's necessarily a massive enough show to reflect the gravity of this, Bri, but we'll do the best we can. Our feature segment on today's episode is a conversation with our friend Jake Davis from BTM Manufacturing. They're located safely north of all the devastation.
Yeah.
In the Kansas City area.
You could say well into the Midwest, actually.
That's right, although their footprint is a little bit wider than just the Kansas City area in the Midwest, as we'll hear during this conversation.
Yep.
MWFA President Bob Baer joins Mike McNulty on the Fastener News Report today. This is a segment where they review the Fastener Distributor Index numbers, Brian, but really what happened was it spilled over into a wider-ranging conversation about the fastener industry in general, and I think it actually qualifies as a full-fledged segment. I think everyone will enjoy this one.
Okay, cool.
Carmen Vertullo has the Fastener Training Minute. And we've got a spattering of fastener industry minutia to share with you folks, as usual, on this episode 119. Brian, despite all of the tumult, we've got our usual fine lineup of sponsors, don't we?
Yes, we do. And they're either sweeping water out of their installations or they're luckily not having to do that. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners. Stelfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. And the Lindstrom family of companies. Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are 3Q, USA-made fasteners, Buckeye Fasteners, InSequel Software, the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, the Worth Group of Companies, ND Industries, Fastenal, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. So thanks to all of you, and we hope you've managed to keep running just fine despite the horrible weather down in southern Texas.
Indeed. Folks, get with us anytime. We'd love to hear from you. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also available on Twitter at times, weather permitting. The handle there is Fully Threaded.
Okay.
Actually, Twitter's been kind of a useful communication tool. So many people during the storm were blocked out of cell service, and was actually listening to some reports come through of people. Of course, it's a little bit of a joke that Twitter's the main form of communication during all this, although we have seen a lot of dramatic photos from Fastener folks and otherwise. But the ham radio community really stepped in, as they always do during civil emergencies. And if ham radio is something that you don't know too much about, well, count your lucky stars those guys are out there, because I tell you, as much as the Cajun Navy has gotten these well-deserved headlines, the ham radio operators are in the background really supporting a lot of the civil rescue efforts.
Okay. That'll be very happy news for you, since you used to always run around with your old CB unit.
Yeah. Well, I've been learning a lot more about that particular hobby lately. It's more than a hobby, though, in cases like this, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, of course, fasteners is more than a hobby. For most of you listening out there, it's a way of life and a way of making a living. And if that is the case for you, then you need to be out there in Vegas coming up. Let's see, I'm on the website now, fastenershows.com, and let's see here. It says something like 16 days, 9 hours, 24 minutes, and the seconds are counting down. Get out to the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, everybody. That's happening at October 17th through the 19th. It's the event of the industry, and you can't afford to miss it.
Right. And you also will have the great luck of coming out and seeing us, and we might have some interesting things to show you there. You never know.
We've always got a little swag also to give away, don't we? Including pocket constitutions. I mean, we've always got a little something for everybody, right?
Yeah, right.
This year including the now famous FCH dog biscuits.
Right, we're having to try and have a slightly different version made that is not quite so crumbly, so people can actually get them back home when they're traveling back home with them.
Yeah, but either way, it's a great reason to get out to the show. Of course, there are many others, and they're available for you to peruse out there on the website. As mentioned, that's fastenershows.com. Right across the top, it says prices increase after September 15th, everybody. So if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't registered yet, make sure you get out there.
Right, and do remember that the venue is different this year. It's in the Exposition Centre, and it's a very new facility, and should be very, very good, okay?
Yeah, you know, we talk about that so much, it seems like everybody knows by now, but I guess there are a few folks out there in the audience who might not have caught that yet. It's going to be a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, and I'm looking forward to it. I have to say it that way. It was a little, I guess, unnerving change of pace and so forth, but I think I'm ready to embrace the change, and it sounds like a lot of other people are too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So just make sure you don't go from the airport to the Sands Expo, okay?
It sounds like something we might do.
Right.
We'll see you out there, folks, at the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, October 17th through the 19th. But we'll see you a lot sooner, because we'll be back to put a wrench to this episode of Fully Threaded Radio right after these messages.
Right.
2 men, 1 server, a fastener dog, and a stunning lack of more lucrative alternatives. It's Fully Threaded Radio.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
What's the real value of Lindstrom? You probably know us as a leading specialty fastener master distributor. But what really sets us apart is a commitment to providing added value for the distributors we serve. Over the years, we've developed a solid foundation of value-added specialties, including hard-to-find products, expertise in secondary processes, in-house manufacturing, technical services, and unique inventory management programs. As we continue to expand, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice, to be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit LindstromFastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
Harry, now that you use InSequel software, how do you like it?
InSequel has delivered. They truly are written for fastener distributors. It's affordable and their support staff is great.
We found InSequel's support staff has depth. They know our industry, and they certainly know their software. I see they've helped you pronounce InSequel.
Yes, but what does InSequel mean? Is it written in SQL? Is the data stored in SQL? Are they located in SQL?
InSequel uses the industry standard Microsoft SQL database, which is why it's so powerful and easy to use.
Oh, the database is stored in SQL. I don't even know where that is. I hear it's a nice place.
Harry, InSequel uses a SQL database because it's current technology and your data is completely accessible. No more expensive custom reports.
Is that why InSequel is so easy to use? Where is SQL on the map?
One of their many support members will help you answer that. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call toll-free 877-446-9775.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
This is Rosa, the preferred riveter at Brighton Bass International. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio with Eric and Brian.
Brian and Eric, back with you safely on higher ground. Hey, Brian, we're seeing all kinds of tweets and LinkedIn posts and things related to the hurricane down there in Houston. And if you're listening to this sometime later, well, we're probably still in the aftermath. This is going to be with us for a long time, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I'm not in Houston at the moment.
Well, our best wishes go out to all our friends down there in the Houston area. Of course, we had just the last episode, we had Jonathan Coach with us. And, I called down there. I didn't get any reply back. I hope he's okay. We've seen tweets and posts, as I mentioned, from several of our friends. Of course, Brighton Best announced that their Houston office is closed for the foreseeable future. Dallas is open, though, folks.
Right, a little bit, higher ground, okay? 10 feet. But it's a mess, especially when you're really so close to sea level anyway.
Well, we'll be reaching out to all our friends who might have been affected by Hurricane Harvey. And with us now is another friend who I think is safely out of the path of the storm. We've known him for a long time, and he's been a friend of the FCH Sourcing Network and the podcast. From BTM Manufacturing, Jake Davis. Where do we find you today?
Beautiful central Kansas, taking care of the customer. Had one of my employees unfortunately wrecked his motorcycle, and I had to step in. So President Jake to the rescue, right?
So this is when you add yet nothing. So Yes. Well, I also make the coffee and.
Absolutely. Okay.
Right. Yeah, we know these things. Okay.
Yeah. Small business, you do a little bit of everything. So.
Yes, you. It's very. So the guy who's got hurt, is he okay? Hopefully he is.
Yeah, he was. He broke some ribs, punctured a lung. Was in the hospital for a couple days and has been home for a couple weeks now. And he's going to come back on board at the end of the week in a limited capability, but we'll get it taken care of. So just be careful when you're riding those motorcycles.
Right. Well, hopefully he'll come back and going to be full of tons of energy again. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while to get back on his, 100% for sure.
Yep.
So you're splitting your time though between your headquarters and your warehouse. Is that what it is? Covering for him?
Yeah, we've got a 5,000 square foot warehouse down here in kind of south central Kansas, and we just have one guy and he runs the warehouse and have a VMI, and just had like I said, a third trip in about 4 weeks, so I'm very familiar with the Hampton Hotel. Just put a plug in there for me.
Right. So are you expecting to become very familiar with the, I've forgotten the name of a hotel in Las Vegas. Do you go to Las Vegas show?
Oh, the Westgate?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it after your stellar review.
Right, but remember my stellar review was the wrong hotel. The stellar review was the hotel next door, which is really nice. Okay.
No, yeah. You know what? We'll make it work. It seems like most of the people are going to be planning and their parties and whatnot at the Westgate, and I saw, social media, they've kind of got the circle bar already with some special drink specials each day, so they're making it work. So I figure I don't go to spend a lot of time in my room anyway, so the aspect that I'm doing it wrong if I'm in my room a lot, So
you're the exact opposite of me then, yeah.
I guess, I don't know, but I'm not much of a gambler. It's a busy 2 days, and I'm anxious to see what the 2 full days will bring to the show, and just looking forward to getting out there. So it's always a great time.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, if you were going to be out there in Vegas, because, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about your main gig, BTM Manufacturing, in a few minutes.
Sure.
But we know you mainly from ISCO, which is your distribution bit, or your dad started it 40-some years ago out there in Lee Summit, Missouri, and it's still operating full force. But I noticed on the website out there was a blog post, and you were participating in some industrial show out there, like October 17th or something. So I thought, wow, Jake's going to miss Vegas for that?
No. It's the Vegas. We'll be there full force. Booth number 1561, baby. Stop on.
Okay. Right.
Right on.
We wouldn't miss Vegas. Now that we started going, you can't miss it. Just can't do that.
Well, that clears that up.
Well, I can tell you that the convention center is pretty cool. It's huge. Okay.
Yeah.
It's broken into sections, so you have a north, a central, or east and central and west and whatever they call it, north, south. But the central section is the one that we're in, which happens to be pretty easy to get to.
Okay.
Big place. It's also called the International Trade Center. So it's sort of fancy, pretty fancy.
I have found in my 20 plus years now, which is scary. Fastener people do well wherever it's at. So, we make do. And I think, like I said, Emerald's done a good job putting it together and, taking some of the things that we had and we're used to and wrapping that around Westgate. So we'll see.
Yeah. Open mind's good. I mean, I think the extended time is probably quite good too. I mean, because the way it always worked was that people, since it was only a day and a half really, people were sort of planning their departures.
Yeah.
And sort of so that there was a great, the Great Rush was the first day, and then early morning was sort of okay, but by sort of 10 o'clock, people were thinking about how they're going to get on their planes to get home.
Yeah, I'm hopeful it just, allows people to spend more time with all of us exhibitors at the booths. I agree. It's not physically possible to visit every booth last year in a day and a half. So
no, I agree. I think it'll work better actually.
I think so too. So, and what's another night in Vegas, right?
Right. You must love Vegas, okay?
No, I'm not a gambler. That's the thing. I'm a people watcher, and that's what Vegas is for.
Yeah, you're right. Now, if that's the case, there's some great bars that you can just sit at and watch all these people hustling and going by. That's really fun.
Well, you'll need to put those out there, Brian.
I don't want them to get too crowded.
Yeah, we need an update on your city review, as though we were unfamiliar with it. But I was going to say, that last hour, it used to be Jim Bannister on the overhead, on the PA, warning everybody about the dire consequences if they left early.
Packing up too soon?
Yeah. And I was wondering, because I just saw a press release a couple, 2-3 months back that was it Jim or was it Mike? No, actually it was McGuire. That's right. Maybe they hired McGuire and his only job is going to be to get on the PA, that last 2 hours and warn everybody. Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be.
No, he's got a ton of knowledge, I'm sure, that he can transfer over to Emerald. I saw an email come in from Morgan Wilson of Emerald, and they're mentioning this new Fastener demo zone, which is a new part of the show they're promoting, in addition to a beer garden sponsorship, right, which I have to talk to you about offline. But the new demo zone...
You're not allowed to go to it, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Isn't that where your booth is this year, Eric?
Sorry, I decided that already. Okay.
Come on, guys, don't let the cat out of the bag.
No.
But the demo zone, it sounds like an interesting thing. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to work for FCH, but it sounds like if you're a manufacturer or you've got something like a new application or something that you want to demonstrate to people, that's where you might think about being. Did you see anything about this, Jake?
No, I just saw it today, and I haven't, just with my responsibilities this morning, I haven't had a chance to look at it. So, but you're right. I mean, it just gives an opportunity for a new application to kind of be hands-on as opposed to, giving somebody a flyer on it. So why not?
Yeah, but I think that Morgan's on the right track. He's adapting to the industry well, how he rolled the beer garden right into that demo zone. Good job, Morgan.
Yeah, that didn't take him long at all.
Yeah, I think he'd been in the fastener industry for quite a long time, really.
Well, I'll tell you, they're doing a good job of integrating with the industry because they do show up at the different events, the association events. I've seen them at
That's true.
Yeah, the various socials and things. And here, I'm talking to the crowd, to the choir, because, Jake, for a long time, I thought you were a Chicago guy. Seriously, because you were like at every MWFA in the Chicago metro area, all the events, and here it is. You drive all the way out from Kansas City. I mean, my hat's off to you. I mean, that says a lot to your commitment to, or at least your belief in the effectiveness of participating in the associations.
Yeah, I just think it's important. And it's just been something that with BTM, I thought it was important. They didn't really do anything from the association standpoint, so you got to start from somewhere, and we were already a member with ISCO and MWFA, so it just, they work together, and we've joined CIFA and Southwestern, and I think the only one we really haven't got in is Pac West, but there's interest there, but I'm kind of worried about time and getting stretched a little bit too thin, but I want to kind of try and make everything work, and that aspect of it, you get a busy season now with the shows and everything that we've got going on this fall. So, I try and get up there about once a quarter. It's important to me. I mean, it's a dual purpose as a buyer on the wholesale distribution, and then as BTM, just kind of somewhat president, marketing, getting the word out, traveling with Kevin Booth is one of our reps, Jim Sullivan's one of our reps, getting out with those guys, seeing customers, meeting new customers, and it's just important to me.
So it's sort of a bit of a drive. I mean, you drive, don't you?
No, I fly. Southwest.
Yeah, I thought you drove. Oh, okay.
No. I have before. I think we had some training. Went to a Brighton training once, maybe a couple of years ago. I drove, and then brought my whole sales team up for, I think, a Class C seminar on a full day, and we drove that. But most of the time, I just fly up. So
okay, that's all right. Okay, I thought this is a bit of a hell of a drive to be doing this every couple of months.
Yeah, no, but you pay for it, for a rental car, and then you sit in traffic, and it's just, to me, because, my daily commute is just, I go crazy in that traffic. I don't know how they do it. They're special people.
You've lived in the country too long, okay?
Well, I don't know if it's the country, but I don't work downtown Kansas City. I jump on a couple highways and I'm to work, and if I hit 75% red lights, I'm in a foul mood when I walk in the door. But that's it's just just not used to it.
Well, I would think if you don't like driving, how would you even get to the airport? I mean, my experience of my trip to Kansas City was it's like 3-hour drive to get to the airport.
It's a ways. It's a good 50 minutes from my house, but it's
right.
They put it out there so where you don't have traffic issues, Brian. You just
I know, but by the time you get there, you're nearly halfway to Chicago. I mean, it's like
I drive to KCI is about the same as the flight to Midway. So
yeah, it's sort of a rather long trip. I mean, if it was, if Kansas City was the size of Houston, I could understand having a big, the airport miles and miles and miles away. But
yeah, somebody had a great idea and it's stuck for whatever reason.
Someone had a bit of land they needed to get rid of, I think.
That too. Maybe they got it at a great price.
Right.
Well, the MWFA had a big event back on August 17th. They were calling it a social or a cocktail social or whatever it was, but you were there, and I was really glad to see that Jim Sullivan had your logo on his shirt. I didn't know that he was working with you. Of course, a lot of people from the MWFA and beyond know Jim, but he retired some time back from Chicago Hardware, and boom, there he was with you. So that was really cool. That was a great event. I think if MWFA put their heart into it, they actually might even be competing with the NCFA for the distributor social. I mean, that was a great turnout they had.
Yeah, I thought it was great. You never kind of know what you're going to get until you try. So for the first time, I thought they did a great job. They had exquisite weather. I mean, it was almost perfect outside. Low 80s, and just the opportunity, like I said, to see friends, to see associates, gave me an opportunity to come up, do some business on Thursday on the ISCO side, and Friday, I'm traveling with Kevin Booth and working, a few accounts with him before I head back. So it was great. I mean, I think that, Bob has done a great job. Nancy continues to do a great job with the association she runs, and you just have to have consistency, and just have it. Plan out it every August, and, in my opinion, and put it on the calendar so people know, and I think it would just grow and grow.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And there's a way about those events that it doesn't work the same way when you're sitting in someone's office or even when you're at the usual association events. I mean, I tell you, we get a lot of stuff comes over the transom, but you never quite get those juicy tidbits that you do in the wee hours of those socials. A lot of stuff comes out.
Absolutely. And everybody pretty much behaved. I think I left about 9:15, 9:30, and there was a handful left. But everybody was well behaved. So just preparing for Vegas, I assume.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, 9:15 sounds rather early. Even I would be up by then. I give up at about 11 o'clock, okay, and I'm still like the first one to leave.
Yeah, well, what Jake's not saying is that a number of people retired to the hotel bar next door.
Yeah, that could be. They might have just went inside and I just missed them. So.
Right. I think that's probably closer.
Sorry to burst your bubble, Bri, but I think what it was the hot wings ran out, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about this. See, now I'm confused about these two companies, BTM and ISCO. So how does this all work? What are the two companies then?
Well, ISCO was started by my father, Joe Davis Jr., 1974. He'd spent majority of his life in fasteners, all the way back to Kansas City Nut and Bolt as a order filler. Worked his way up. He was in sales, doing quite well, and they came in. I can't remember exactly who came in and just said, "Hey, we're going to take you off commission, just pay you salary." And he said, "No, you know." So he started with my mother, started ISCO in April 1st, 1974, out of the basement of our Independence home. There's a picture. On our website of my father at work at his desk, babysitting myself in a drawer, basically, because, you know, you make do, right? You got to be able to answer the phone, and so that was his answer of a crib, I suppose. So,
well, it makes a very good use of an office desk. Okay.
So wait, hang on, Jake. So you spent like your infancy in like a filing cabinet?
Well, just for that time, not a whole. I don't recollect any of it. I just know there's proof because there's a picture out there. So
you don't remember being shut inside the cabinet? Right?
No. I wasn't. I didn't sleep there.
When you made too much noise, or okay.
I mean, we've got the makings of a fastener legend right here. I mean, I like this. Yeah, we have a lot of people on the podcast, as you know, who have all kinds of stories of their childhoods in warehouses and stuff. Some of the shenanigans they got up to, but I think this is the first one that goes all the way back to infancy.
Yeah, no, it's out there on the website, so there's proof. So yeah, out of our home, we shortly moved to a warehouse in Blue Springs, Missouri. Then we went to the caves in Sugar Creek, which, granted, all underground, coolest place ever for a teenager, and, you know, to hang out and act like he was working. So, and then we moved out to Lee Summit in '86 and have been there since. And so the BTM Manufacturing kind of came along fall of 2012, and we already had somewhat of a smaller manufacturing company called Mid-America Threaded Products. Did similar business, same type product capabilities, but BTM was a little bit certainly automated. Their scope and size was much bigger, and Granville Smith had approached my dad about the possibility of purchasing it. Didn't really want to sell it. He was wanting to retire, and so we pulled the trigger and took over ownership in January of 2013. And
okay.
So it's been great. It's been a challenge. I've spent, like I said, up to then about 15 years just myself on the ISCO side of things, from a wholesale fastener distributor, being service oriented completely from day one, you know, as that infant. That's probably what I heard over and over again from my father. And then to come into manufacturing, not to saying that service doesn't go along with manufacturing, but people don't react to it the same way. And I guess that has been what we're trying to do. Is I call it a service-minded manufacturer, plain and simple. That's our commitment, is service-related when it comes to manufacturing.
Jake, tell us about the product spectrum that you're supplying and also the markets that you serve.
Yeah. Sure. You know, manufacture of U-bolts, custom bent wire products, specialty threaded fasteners. We do 3/16 to 1.5 inch rolled thread, 3/16 up to 4-inch full body cut thread. From an industry, we're pretty ag central here in Kansas City. Right. That aspect of it is pretty good. Do somewhat in the automotive. I don't want to say like GM or anybody like that, but from a lift truck standpoint, right. Marine, truck trailer, concrete, you kind of from there. I mean, it just kind of goes out and out.
So then would you be, in terms of farm stuff, is that like plow bolts and scraper bolts and things like that, or machine?
No, I mean, that's going to be mostly, that's going to be mostly on the manufacturing side of things. Yeah. Solely on the U-bolts, more per print, okay. More implement side of things. truck trailer aspect of, the hitches and that.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and construction too. I had forgot about that as well. So.
Right.
Now, on your geographic footprint, are you still building out your rep network, or are you kind of stable for now?
No, I think we're still trying to add. I'm trying to look west a bit. I really don't have anybody, and you're, Eric, in the Cleveland, the Ohio area. I've got John Fisher with Sienna Fastener. He kind of covers Minnesota and the Dakotas for me. I do have 2 full-time guys that travel, kind of the 6-state area, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Trying to look to add southeast, south, and west. But I've got, again, I mentioned Kevin Booth earlier. We picked up Rick Rudolph Associates at Fastener Tech this past June. So slowly but surely, we're just not running out there and picking up anybody that wants to do it. But like I said, as we get out there a little bit more, people recognize who we are and have the opportunity to talk. We've been able to add a few guys and gals.
Got it. We're talking with Jake Davis with BTM Manufacturing. You want to get more info or reach out to Jake and get more in-depth on some of these topics, or maybe you're a rep who's looking to join on with a company like this, and a good high-quality company, I might add, the website btm-mfg.com. I got to ask you this. We're going to wrap it up here in a moment or two, Jake, but with all your experience, I'm not going to say how many years, you got on this set of tires, but I was kind of, let's just say curious when I saw you at a Young Fastener Professionals meeting at a recent event. How does that work?
I have no idea. You're almost going to have to bleep me out. You know what? I just kind of signed up for it, and they put it out there. And again, it's for myself. It's a little bit different. It's outside of my bubble, and I have to, I'll say, force myself. Going to that the networking thing they did last year in Vegas, I thought was great. I could have spent a little bit more time. I don't think I got to everybody, but the one with Fastener Tech, it was great, but I kind of consider myself a tweener a little bit. I'm kind of on that downhill slope from YFP, and I'm thankful that they, maybe they see something in me I don't see in myself, but I appreciate it. So
the downhill slope gets steeper and very, very slippery. Okay.
Well, I'm finding that out. So.
Unfortunately.
Well, that was a very sober and realistic answer. I give you credit, Jake. But I tell you, you were active in that meeting, and I think a lot of your input should be helpful. Of course, YFP is dependent on the knowledge and the wisdom of people who, let's just put it bluntly, they're not YFP any longer. But we'll see if they take some of your advice and run with it.
No, I was just going to say, I remember when Marty Nolan being in there and then adding, that's being able to draw on, his travels and what he sees and what works and what doesn't work. That's what we need to do is, if YFPers, no matter if we're a tweener or not. The industry is going to change at some point in time when all of us get a little long in the tooth, so to speak, and, we move on to greener pastures, and you have a younger, different type of buyer that's in the industry, and you just have to train, adapt, all those key elements of what's going to change.
Well, what's going to change is that, as we know, that the people are actually going to start using the web to buy fasteners, okay? Oh, they think they do that already.
Probably solely.
Yeah, and so, what we track is that they're going to be using phones more and more and more.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
On that topic of the YFP, right before we went to press with this episode, the Fastener Industry Coalition, along with the Fastener Show, made the announcement that they've picked their Young Fastener Professional of the Year. And this year, I think he's a tweener too, to tell you the truth, Jake. Not sure exactly what his age is, but Mr. Adam Pratt of Shirex took the award this year. Congratulations to him. And I guess he started Shirex Fastening Solutions at the tender age of 24.
Wow,
that's good.
That was exciting news.
In order to win, do you have to be of a less than a certain age, or does that matter?
Well, it says here that among the criteria, you got to be under 40. So he must be under 40. He doesn't say how old he is. He looks like a very robust, energetic young man in this photo that accompanies the press release. So I'm sure he fits that criteria.
Well, congrats to Adam for the W and being under 40. He's got two good things going for him.
I don't quite know how we answer that one. Okay. We'll cut that out. Here, who invited you on this show?
Who?
Yeah, that's the beauty of nearly live, predominantly related Fastener Talk Radio, folks.
Yeah, thank God for the cut button.
Well, Jake, we've wanted to get you on the podcast for a while. We probably kept you off the road a little longer than you would have wanted, but we really do appreciate it. We wish you the best with BTM Manufacturing. Say hi to your dad over at ISCO, too. We know he's a hardcore, die-hard nationwide directory user, but God love him.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's still got the books on my bookshelf behind my desk, so, antiques, baby.
Yeah, a lot of great people in this industry do, and they probably will for some time to come, so nothing wrong with that, but God bless them nevertheless.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity to get on with you guys, so appreciate what you guys do, with FCH and Fully Threaded Radio. Enjoy it every month, and looking forward to hearing this one.
Okay, good. So you're not frightened of listening to your own voice then? So some people are.
No, yeah. Probably.
Look, by the time Eric's edited, it'll sound great.
I can only hope so.
Okay.
It's getting thick in here, so we're going to say thanks one more time, and we'll remind everybody that we'll be back momentarily with more Fully Threaded Radio.
This isn't some kind of partially threaded radio show. Oh, no. This is Fully Threaded Radio. Talk radio for the fastener industry.
What makes Lindstrom a leading specialty fastener master distributor? For years, you've known Lindstrom as the premier name in metric fasteners, with an expanded product line that now includes the largest assortment of fasteners and components of any master distributor. Today, Lindstrom means much more than metric. At Lindstrom, we're focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice, delivered by the most experienced sales team in the industry. For inch or metric fasteners, standard or special, in any finish, all packed to your requirements, turn to Lindstrom, where we have what you need and deliver it the way you want. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit LindstromFastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or Fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting Fastenal.com today.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Fastener Distributors. 3Q Inc. is the best-kept secret for all of your fastener needs. 3Q is the premier sourcing solution for the fastener distribution market. 3Q offers stock and release programs on all special fastener products, from flat washers, lock nuts, cold form specials, to bolts and screws. Looking to add the highest quality line of self-drilling screws? Check out the Pull-Tight line of serrated self-drilling screws. They bite. Distributors who know of 3Q wonder how they ever operated before without the high level of service and quality support provided by 3Q and their staff. The number 3, the letter Q. 3Q Inc. Quality products, quality service, quality customers. Welcome to 3Q.
This is Kevin Chavis with Star Stainless Screw, and you are listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, back with you, doing the job most fastener professionals won't do.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
It's called Fully Threaded, Bri.
Oh, okay. Well, it's easy, remember? Should be everyone that does a podcast.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Don't give them any ideas.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Well, speaking of things that aren't easy, leading a fastener association, I'd have to say, is one of them. Looks easy, isn't. And given that, hats off to Kevin Chavis of Star Stainless Screw. He was reelected to an unprecedented, as far as I'm aware, third consecutive term as president of the Pacific West Fastener Association.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've seen him do a pretty good job, okay? In fact, very good job. Takes a whole set of abilities to manage one of these things, just like Bob Baer does very successfully too.
Well, that's true. But 3 terms, that's really something. Now, during the same election, Chris McCaffrey of R&D Fasteners was reelected as vice president, and doing double duty from Empire Bolt and Screw, it's Ron Stanley, and he's serving as secretary and treasurer again. I'm not sure if those 2 gentlemen are also, I know they're at least second, I'm not sure if they're third termers, but they very well may be. I'm not 100% sure, but in any event, they're all doing yeoman service for that organization, and they recently had their fall conference out in Whistler, British Columbia. We attempted to get somebody from the group on, and it fell through at the last minute, so we'll have to get some feedback on that a little bit later. Didn't hear too much about it, although there were a few tweets flying around.
Right, so normally a place that you go to in the winter times, it's an amazing ski field.
It sounds like it should be. Don't know that much about it, although BC is a notoriously beautiful place.
Yeah, I remember when, sort of a lifetime ago, I went up there skiing, and straight from New Zealand, where of course we never got very cold in New Zealand, and I was the top of Mount Whistler, I remember, was so cold that your skin would crack and then blood would freeze, and so you wouldn't know till you came down at the end of the day. That was my lesson on just how cold parts of the northern Canada can get.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great hobby.
It was very good. The skiing was absolutely amazing. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's probably much more accommodating to ordinary skiers, but in those days you had to be a good skier to even go near Mount Whistler.
Yeah, had I known about that, I probably would have given up Greco-Roman wrestling long ago.
Right, yeah. You give up that, I'll give up skiing.
Yeah, you can bet on it. Something else you can bet on, folks, is that the Fastener News Report is coming up momentarily. That, of course, with Mike McNulty. Right before we get to that, one other piece of news I saw fly by somewhere or other was about STAFTA. That's a show we don't talk about too often on the podcast, Bri.
Yep.
But a lot of fully threaded listeners are involved with that, or at least aware of it. And they've got their 41st annual convention coming up in November. That's happening in Austin. STAFTA, of course, folks, is the Specialty Tools and Fastener Distributors Association.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of crossover between that and some of our own membership, actually.
Correct. Thus, the relevance, and that's why we put it on here. But the headline that we saw was that booth space is sold out for the convention this year, and I still have not been to it, but it's touted to be just an amazing event, and maybe we'll make it to the 42nd. What do you think?
Wow. Well, Austin, there's worse places to go than Austin, I have to say.
Well, it travels every year.
Okay, yeah.
But I'd agree. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and Lindstrom. And the Fastener News Report is brought to us today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
Right.
And you know what time it is now, Bri?
Time for news about screws that you can use.
That would be right. Here's Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. The Cleveland Browns are on a 3-game winning streak in practice games that don't count. The Cleveland Indians are still leading the AL Central, and no one is trying to erase any names from the Fastener Industry Hall of Fame. So I am really focused on fasteners and ready to deliver today's Fastener News Report. In this episode, we're going to reveal the latest results of the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have our top story on awards at the Las Vegas Fastener Show and newsmaker headlines from All American Products, Vulcan Threaded Products, Senco, Innovative Components, Brighton Best, MW Industries, and Motor City Industrial. On the back page report, we're going to talk about scholarships. We'll get to all of that and the latest FDI results right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been servicing the fastener community since 1905. An employee-owned company for 33 years, we take great pride in the quality of products we sell, offering outstanding customer service from our very knowledgeable sales team members. Our standard product lines include graded weld screws, resistance weld fasteners, leg levelers, tube inserts, clevis pins, and various other fasteners. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. We also have an entire team of sourcing specialists able to locate those hard-to-find items with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times than that of our competition. We offer same-day shipments from one of our warehouses, strategically located throughout the United States and Canada, enabling us to fulfill all your fastener needs in a very timely manner. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or visit us on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, product support from development to implementation.
Cardinal Fastener is your source for high-quality made-in-the-USA bolts, from 3/8 inch up to 4.5 inch diameter. We can forge a wide variety of materials, including carbon steels, alloys, high-nickel alloys, and stainless. And our in-house tooling center, heat treat equipment, and A2LA quality labs give us total control over every part we produce, for faster lead times and superior quality. Call 844-CNL-BOLT for a fast, competitive quote. And remember, if it's critical, it's Cardinal.
You're listening to Mike McNulty's Fastener News Report on Fully Threaded Radio.
In July, the FDI came back to earth with a respectable reading of 55.1 after spending the last 2 months north of the 60.0 mark, an FDI first. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by the FCH Sourcing Network, the National Fastener Distributors Association, and Baer. The FDI seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get some insight on these results, we talked to Bob Baer, president of Abbott Interfest and current MWFA president. Hi, Bob. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me on for this segment again. It's always a pleasure to be on Fully Threaded Radio, and always great to contribute to the industry in any way we can. So,
yeah, well, thanks to you for joining us. And so, what do you think about the July numbers as well as super high numbers we had 2 months before that?
Yes, well, it's interesting. I was looking at the graph earlier, and it's starting to mimic the 13, 14, 15 pattern. It was relieved a little bit to see the number come back down to earth number. I think we were up record numbers 2 months ago, 64, right. 65. Right. And then, drop back down to 60 and down to 55. I think 55 to 60 is a really good range. Once we get up in that 64, 65 range, I start to question the data a little bit, but it's definitely positive.
Some emotions, maybe.
Yeah, as you build steam up and people get excited and adrenaline takes over and, you see shipments going out the door and your inventory's going down, of course, everybody's very optimistic. But it's been all green pretty much. I think we had one in the last 8 or so that was just borderline below the line.
The first one of the year, 49.9.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think 2 months prior to that were green also. So it's a nice trend. Business certainly reflects it. Of course, we're reporting on July, I believe, numbers right now, but we're well into August, and we've seen the numbers hold true through August, and it looks like they're going to be positive again going forward here.
Yeah, well, speaking of going forward, there's also the forward-looking indicator, also called the FLI. It dipped slightly to 62.9. Which is just done last month. It was a record of 64.0, so it's still a pretty solid forward-looking indicator.
Yeah, and let's not forget when we say record, it's a fairly new index. So while it was a record, we don't have a lot of history with it. And I don't think there'd be any reason to think it wouldn't follow the same pattern as the index if people are that optimistic right now. So,
well, the 6-month outlook was, if you take people who think it's going to be the same or better, it's 97%, which is up from 88% the month prior.
Yeah, and that's really great news because, that helps fuel, I think, emotions and buying, helps fuel things. And I think consumer spending for the month of July was up as well.
I'm going to say, even if we stay the same is pretty good. So.
Oh, yeah, the same is up in nice territory right now.
Right. But, the thing bearing us down is the storm that's obviously devastating a lot of Texas and now maybe even Louisiana. Do you think that will have an impact on the industry?
Well, I was going to comment on consumer spending because it's been up and people have been spending money on auto industry, and that has a big impact on the economy. And I think what we're going to see now in Texas is that's going to pull way back. With what's going on there. There's talk this morning of they don't even know who's going to be liable. Insurance, is this going to be an insurance rebuild or a federal rebuild? It seems like most people won't have insurance coverage for the sort of stuff. Trump's going to have to jump in, and the Congress and the government are going to have to decide how they're going to handle this. But it's going to definitely put a crimp on whatever little government spending has been going on and on consumer spending.
Yeah, it's devastating. I guess, we do have these weather catastrophes happen from time to time, so there's some history there with consumer spending drops, but then rebuild spending increases. So a little bit of both maybe evens out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know one of the industries that's been doing very, very well this year is oil and gas, and I think this may have a direct hit on that industry more than most. The other thing to consider here is on the world view, what's happening politically, and could that affect our economy? I think there's a lot of skepticism on what's going on with us in North Korea and this back and forth, and whether or not that can have an impact on Trump and the economy. And I think it may, and if it does, of course, I think it's going to be a negative impact. But let's hope nothing comes out of it.
Yeah, right. Guys launching missiles over Japan is not a good sign.
Yeah, and the threat to do it again doesn't help.
Yeah. So, well, back on the numbers, some of the other numbers, the sales number was down from the super high level last number, but still it was almost 70 when you round it off. It's still pretty impressive number.
Yeah.
And anything else jump out on you number-wise?
Well, what surprised me was employment. Employment seemed to drop at a time where the rest of the economy and the experts believe employment numbers are going up. I think we've had 2 or 3 months in a row here with job growth. The participation rate is up. So I was really surprised when I looked at this report to see the employment numbers are down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That may be part of the reason why the index came down.
Yeah, or maybe people they've done their hiring and they're like, okay, now we're just going to try to fill the orders.
Yeah, and filling orders is, it's been a little bit of a struggle. At least for us it has. Getting inventory in. I think finally some of the overseas factories are catching up, but we had this surge of orders placed overseas. And at the same time that we've had some other things going on, China's still struggling with regulations on the environment. They're putting overtime laws in place. So I think we had a number of things happen at once. And lead times are starting to get a little better, but I know we're hand to mouth on a lot of product lines trying to get stuff in. So inventory is definitely down at the same time that sales are up.
So the sales guys are excited and the fulfillment side are
can't get anything quick enough. Exactly.
Catch-22.
And then, of course, with that, pricing is going to go up, supply demand naturally, and we have seen some increases, and now we're hearing about some definite steel prices going up and some very sharp stainless prices increases. They're on the horizon. They're right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and corrosion prevention is always a big deal, so that's definitely where it's at. Now, we also collect comments with the people that participate in the FDI survey, and I'll go over some of these, and you can jump in if you've got anything on there. One comment: sales are picking up and deliveries are moving out. July year over year up 38.6. Average sales per month up 29.5 in 2017 versus 16. And someone else said, I believe things have leveled off. They've evened out lately, and we are seeing the level that we can expect throughout the year, which is that same factor. Not huge growth of the first several months, but absolutely higher sales than last year. So kind of mimics the results, I guess.
Yeah, I know July we saw a little bit of a taper, and it's a big vacation month, and maybe it's a catch your breath month.
Mm-hmm.
But August came roaring back for sure. We're not seeing those kinds of numbers, those kinds of increases, but
that's pretty big.
Those are big numbers.
Yeah. Well, whoever wrote those wanted to get them out there.
That's for sure.
You do something like that, you got to tell somebody.
Yeah, for a while here, government spending has been down and consumer spending is up, but I don't think consumer spending ever makes up for the drop in government spending. I think government's the biggest consumer in the U.S. still, but they're projecting that this year's GDP is definitely going to be higher than last year's. I think last year we were somewhere around 1.5%, and they were hoping to double it to about 3%. I think the last quarter 2 now has been revised to 3% growth. But by the time we get to the end of the year here, I think it's going to make for a very good year.
Well, it's good. And the timing is now we're moving out of the summer and into fall, which means also the Vegas show is on the horizon. And, like we mentioned earlier, the MWFA president, I know you guys are pretty busy. You got some things coming down the pike.
We do, and I appreciate the time here to talk about it. Actually, right around the corner here, we have an event out in Minneapolis. We're branching out, and Lindstrom was kind enough to open their doors, and we'll have an open house there on September 14th. Earlier that day, we have a print reading seminar for those who are interested in furthering their education in the industry. That'll take place September 14th. On October 5th, we're having another educational seminar in Chicago area, PPAPs and corrective actions, and that's the first time we're presenting a corrective action seminar, and we're really excited about that. That's October 5th, and then, of course, our annual scholarship dinner and board of director election dinner is November 9th. we actually just finished our MWFA mixer was this month in August, and it was a really great turnout. We had probably upwards of 70 people there, and that event brought people out from the Fastener Training Institute was having their class here, and we had some young fastener professionals there, and it was a very successful event. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah, I think I saw some pictures on Twitter from that event.
Yeah, I think we did tweet a few.
What's the MWF? Do you know the MWFA Twitter handle by heart there?
I think it's at MWFA_news is our Twitter handle, and of course our website www.mwfa.net, where you can find all additional information on all our events, including the ones I just mentioned. So
yeah, you guys do a good job, and looking
we
forward
appreciate that.
Yeah, and then you guys will be active in Las Vegas as well.
We will be there. We don't have a booth, but Nancy Rich will be there. She's everywhere, so she does a great job. And it's easy to contribute your time and put the effort in for all this stuff when you have great members like we do. We really appreciate them. So.
Yeah, and coincidentally, at the end of the report, I'm discussing scholarships, and I've got a bunch of the winners named here at the end of this report. So timing is good.
That's great. Yeah, we have our scholarship applications actually are due by September 15th for this year.
Oh, good.
In case you have somebody in the industry that are members of MWFA, those are due by 9/15.
Very good. Take advantage of it. Well, Bob, thanks for joining us and providing your insight. It's always good to talk to you, and I know you like to follow the FDI, and glad to have you on the show.
Well, thanks, Mike, for letting me join in with you, and thanks to the folks at Fully Threaded for bringing me back on. I appreciate it.
That was Bob Baer. He's the president of Abbott Interfast and the current MWFA president. The FDI number for July was 55.1. Visit www.fdisurvey.com to participate. Now for today's top story. The Las Vegas Fastener Show and the Fastener Industry Coalition have partnered together to choose Adam Pratt of Sherrick Fastening Solutions as the 2017 winner of the Young Fastener Professional of the Year Award, and to name Bill Derry of Field Fastener as the 2017 inductee into the Fastener Hall of Fame. The Young Fastener Professional of the Year Award recognizes and honors a young fastener professional under the age of 40 who has made a significant contribution to the fastener industry. And the Fastener Hall of Fame Award recognizes and honors inventors, business leaders, and educators who have made significant contributions to the fastener industry. A special recognition award ceremony will take place on the show floor of the session area at the Fastener Show in Las Vegas, Nevada on Wednesday, October 18th at 3:30 p.m. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. In acquisitions, All American Threaded Products has sold its large volume commodity threaded rod business in Indianapolis to Vulcan Threaded Products, a division of Steel Dynamics. Kyocera Corporation of Japan has acquired 100% ownership of fastener and tool manufacturer Senko Holdings, and the business has been renamed Kyocera Senko Industrial Tools. Cooper & Turner, the UK-based manufacturer and distributor of large-scale fastener systems, has been acquired by the Watermill Group, a private investment firm. Anderson Manufacturing has been acquired by the principals of Big Shoulders Capital. And NW Industries has acquired threaded insert maker TriStar Industries. In personnel news, Innovative Components has hired 3 new employees in an effort to facilitate growth and to improve service. Jennifer Gindrich and Rose Severino joined the customer service team, and Kelly Cannon is now working on the marketing team. Brighton Best International has promoted Al Tuke as regional manager for the Southeast USA territory, and it has promoted Alfonso Paniagua as Dallas branch manager. And Motor City Industrial has appointed Fastenal veteran Joe Stevens as the company's new CEO. You can get details on all of these stories and more in Fastener Technology International magazine and its companion publication, the Fastener News Report newsletter, available in print, PDF, and flipbook editions. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about scholarships. In past episodes, I have done my fair share of complaining about colleges and related government involvement in the dramatic rise of education costs, but I would like to use this back page report today to compliment and recognize the fastener industry on its longtime practice of awarding scholarships to children of fastener workers as well as to current employees of fastener companies. It seems to me that the fastener industry stands out as one of the more generous groups around when it comes to helping out with education. Between the dozen or so fastener associations and individual companies and foundations, there is a huge amount of educational aid available for the fastener industry folks. The Fastener News Report usually can't recognize many of the scholarship winners, but here is a sampling of some recent winners and their company affiliation. The Gilchrist Foundation announced its 2017 winners as Abigail Paskey, Ken Forging, Madeline Prodel, Valley Fastener Group, and Courtney Heyman, Emco Engineered, with a final award to be announced at a Midwest Fastener Association meeting in November. I have a feeling that the Midwest Fastener Association gives out the most awards each year, including several that are named for fastener companies and fastener people, including South Holland Metal Finishing Brian Christian Scholarship, the XL Screw Scholarship, the Richard S. Piscotti Memorial Scholarship, donated by Clare Corp Industrial Sales, the Raul Torres Memorial Scholarship, donated by Star Stainless and Fall River Manufacturing, the Innovative Component Scholarships, and the Morgan O'Hare Scholarship. The MWFA also awards general scholarships, and recent winners, along with their company affiliations, include Clayton Allen, Buckeye Fasteners, Marieth Barjona Jimenez and Juan Maldonado, Innovative Components, Mackenzie Black, Elgin Fastener Group, Rosemary and William Booth, Kevin Booth Sales, Alexander Catone and Steve Sutphin, Cambridge, Jamie Gates, Sems and Specials, Catherine Davis, ISCO, Monica Hauschild, Acme Industrial, Daniel Heskey, Abbott Interfest, Sarah Cooper-Schmidt, Unitite, Shelby Locke, RK Precision Products, Marinelli and Paula Shokran, SWD, Caitlin Nesda, Alpha Tools, John O'Brien and Samuel Wader, Certified Fastener and Industrial Supply, and Miguel Santos, Brighton Best. The Southwest Fastener Association and the Metropolitan Fastener Distributors Association also have long lists of winners, including Hallie Tripp, Fall River Manufacturing, Carlos Sanchez, Sidney Jace, and Chelsea Mendoza from Fastbolt Corp., Andy View, Brighton Best, Ryan James Bailey, Century Fasteners, Anaya Burgos, Captive Fasteners, Shay DeVito, Solution Industries, Sarah Shannon, Tower Fasteners, Ryan Bailey, Nucor, Catherine Davis, BTM, Blake Phillips, EFC, Alicia and Melissa Carnes, GL Hewitt, Paulina Borowski, Greenslade & Company, Holly Johnson, Hillsdale Terminal, Amanda Garrett and Karen McKenzie, SPS, Slara Slayton, Standard Fasteners, and Caitlin Hogan, Tifco Industries. And finally, don't forget that applications for the FCH Sourcing Network's Fastener Training Institute Scholarship are due on September 30th. The winner will be announced in Las Vegas. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Please send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Carmen Vertullo has the Fastener Training Minute next. Then it's more Fully Threaded Radio. Thanks for listening. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Are you tired of empty promises from software vendors? Are you paying for support that you're not receiving? Is it time for another paid upgrade? There is a solution. InSequel delivers quality software designed for the fastener industry at an affordable price with industry-leading support. Unlike other software companies, with InSequel, you purchase your software once. There will never be a paid upgrade. If you need assistance with anything, InSequel is there to help. When you call, you will always speak with a real person offering you quick and knowledgeable answers to your questions. Can your current provider say this? Quality software, affordable pricing, industry-leading support. Only InSequel can deliver all three. So why settle? Call InSequel Software at 877-446-9775 or visit www.inxsql.com.
Hello.
Hello.
You've been walking the Fastener Show for a while?
Yes. However, I'm wearing very comfortable shoes.
How would you like some Old Rusty Bolt beer?
I'm not a smart man, but Mama warned me about these things.
Well, that's probably because Mama never tried Old Rusty Bolt. Only the finest beverage in the fastener business.
All right. I'll give it a try. This is pretty good. I'm starting to feel funny. Jenny! Something's happening. Whoa. I feel.
Sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side.
Old Rusty Bolt, making the fastener world feel smarter, one beer at a time. So how do you feel?
I gotta pay.
I believe he said he had to pee. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt beer, official beer of the traveling salesman.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution Man can. Provide me with a print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the distributive social, huh?
Hi, everybody. This is Carmen with your Fastener Training Minute from the Fastener Training Institute and the Carver Fact Center here in beautiful El Cajon, California. Today, we're going to talk about a very simple but important and often misunderstood topic, and that is the difference between a hex bolt and a hex cap screw and why that matters and the kind of trouble that we get into. These both come from a very important standard called ASME B18.2.1. We're going to be talking about the dimensional differences, and if you happen to have the IFI 9th edition or even the 8th, but you should have the 9th, if you have it available, go ahead and get that out because it'll help you understand what we're going to talk about when we come back.
Thank you, Carmen. This is Joe Morris with the Fastener Training Institute. Well, summer is coming to an end, which means kids are headed back to school soon. Why not join them and expand your fastener knowledge? The Fastener Training Institute has classes suitable for every level of fastener experience. On September 12th in Los Angeles, California, we will be hosting Fastener Quality Assurance, Print Reading, and Inspection. This is a required class for our Certified Fastener Specialist program, but anyone is absolutely welcome to attend. It is a great class that includes classroom instruction along with hands-on work using actual lab equipment. And for those of you CFS out there who would like a refresher, we do offer a 50% discount to attend the class a second time. For those of you new to the fastener industry, please join us on September 19th for Product Training Part 1 in Los Angeles, California. This is the first of a 3-part series designed to teach employees in the fastener industry about the products that they buy, sell, and warehouse. So while I'm highlighting fall in the fastener industry, I am really excited to announce that FTI is teaming up once again with Eric Dudas and his team at the Fastener Clearinghouse Sourcing Network to offer a full scholarship to our acclaimed Fastener Training Week. This is the course, everybody, that qualifies students to become a certified fastener specialist, which is one of the most notable credentials in the fastener industry. To qualify for selection, candidates must work within the fastener industry and submit a brief essay addressing the importance of training and the impact of training on their career. The deadline to submit your essay is September 30th, and the winner will be announced in Las Vegas during the Fastener Show. For more information about the scholarship, please visit www.fasteners.clearinghouse.com or send me an email at jom@fastenertraining.com. Now back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Well, welcome back to the Fastener Training Minute. This is Carmen Vertullo coming to you from the Fastener Training Institute and the Carver Fact Center, where we study fasteners here in El Cajon, California. We recently had a client who had an inquiry from a customer for some 1.5-inch diameter hex bolts, as they were called, to grade 8. Grade 8 comes from SAE J429, and as we know, it's a fairly high-strength fastener. But we're used to seeing grade 8 bolts made as what are called hex cap screws or cap screws. And there's a difference between a hex bolt and a hex cap screw. And if you get out your IFI 9th edition, or if you happen to have a copy of ASME B18.2.1, we're going to talk about two of the very important differences in these standards, and they are this. Hex bolts have a larger body diameter tolerance, and hex bolts do not have a washer face. To illustrate that, if we look at this 1.5-inch product from Table 2 of ASME B18.2.1, one of the things we'll notice that for an 1.5-inch bolt, the diameter tolerance for the full body is 1.470 to 1.531. That means it's allowed to be 31 thousandths over the nominal size, or 1.5 inches. So for an end user who expects their 1.5-inch bolt to go into a more or less 1.5-inch hole, they could have an issue. Additionally, the standard allows for some swelling even beyond that at the top of the head up to 90 thousandths. That's because these large products are typically hot-headed as hex bolts. Now, normally, we don't make high-strength products as hex bolts. The grade 8 bolt, for example, would be made as what's called a hex cap screw. And the hex cap screw does have a washer face, and it has a tighter tolerance on the body diameter. So, for example, the 1.5-inch body diameter for the hex cap screw from Table 6 is much tighter. It's 1.500, which is the nominal size on the plus side, to minus 1.4880. So it's only 12 thousandths undersized. So that is the difference between those two products primarily, is if you buy an 1.5-inch hex cap screw, you can assume it will fit in an 1.5-inch hole. Now, the other feature is the washer face. This is a raised area underneath the head that gives the bolt a nice bearing surface. So if the end user intends to screw this into a tapped hole, or even if it's a precision assembly, such as a machine or a crane or some kind of automotive or truck application, and it's a high-strength bolt, they're going to want that washer face. Many manufacturers in the United States, if you call them and say, I need an 1.5-inch grade 8 bolt, they're going to make a bolt, and your customer may not be able to live with that. So be aware, there's a difference between a hex cap screw and a hex bolt, and those differences can make a big difference to the person who's trying to assemble their product. This has been Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute. Thanks for listening.
This is Leo Core, editor of Distributors Link magazine, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian Musker, Eric Dudas, back with you on the online fastener flotation device, Fully Threaded Radio.
So you're thinking about fishing because you're talking about flotation devices. I can tell that because it should have been a party bus.
Well, you're kind of right. I'm always thinking about fishing. But in this case, I was actually thinking about flooding and all the folks down in Houston and the hurricane and so forth. And let's just say it one more time that our thoughts, prayers, hopes, and so forth are with everybody down there. The aftermath of this is going to be with the fastener industry and everybody else for that matter for a long time to come, Bryce. So we haven't heard the last of it on this episode, I'm sure.
Right. I have a feeling that the whole resolution of this is going to be a little different from Katrina. Texas is a different state, doesn't share much in common with Louisiana.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you're seeing a lot of difference in the rescue and recovery already, and of course, it's also a much more of a diffused storm. The damage is more diffused, right? So, even spilled over into Louisiana, so a lot bigger front to this thing.
Yeah, cities, like they had a story about Port Arthur, which is, I guess, down the coast towards Louisiana, which is flooded as well. So it reaches a very wide sort of area, this whole problem.
And, of course, folks who've been through a flood realize that it's not just a question of the water receding and all that. I mean, it's just, you name it, there's going to be supply shortages and black mold is going to be everywhere. A lot of houses aren't going to make it through this, and you name it. It's just a complicated, costly, long-term situation that everybody's facing. So hang tough, everyone. Again, our thoughts are with you. And I'll tell you this, I think we've got another storm on the horizon for the fastener industry, and that has to do with price increases. We were listening to Bob G.Q. Baer on the Fastener News Report, and he mentioned the hike in stainless that he was seeing. In fact, since we recorded that, we've heard of some letters going out from the largest stainless supplier in the U.S. here, documenting the fact that some prices, 10 to 15% plus some more coming down the pike, are in effect. And if you're not aware of this yet, folks, you should contact your supplier. As well, we're also hearing lots of chatter from some of our friends in Taiwan who are working with lots of the Chinese manufacturers and so forth, and there's some concerns there about the supply chain as it relates to heat treating and some of the EPA shutdowns, or the Chinese version of the EPA shutting down a lot of these heat treaters until they can complete environmental audits, which are expected to take some time. Therefore, the panic.
Actually, it's a little more widespread than heat treaters. I think it's surface coatings too, as well, isn't it?
Well, this is one of those things we're going to need to bring some experts in to advise us. I poked around a little bit before this episode, and I was hoping to address this a little bit more because, as I said, the amount of chatter we're seeing on this, it's really the most that I've seen since we've been covering the industry. But I'm not going to really say too much more about it until we can get somebody who can talk a little more authoritatively. We tried some of our usual sources, and nobody really wanted to go on record yet. I think everybody's still getting their arms around what, in fact, this means. I would say that for our listeners, if you're especially involved in some longer-term programs with some fixed pricing and so forth, or even if you're not, you might want to check in and see what's coming down the pike for your supply.
Right. Forewarned is forearmed.
That's what we say. Well, it's good that we have guests like Bob Baer on the podcast to bring these things to light. And let's thank him for joining us. Bob G.Q. Baer, president of the MWFA and Abbott Interfast. He was the guest of Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International magazine. That was the Fastener News Report. Let's also thank Jake Davis. He's with BTM Manufacturing. Keep on keeping on, Jake, and say hi to your dad over at ISCO for us.
Right.
Carmen Vertullo had the Fastener Training Minute, and we kicked off the episode today with a conversation with Baer and Yarborough of Spring Nut and Bolt, right down there in the heart of Hurricane Harvey in Houston, Texas.
We should also thank Bob Baer, because every month he produces a comparative analysis between the PMI and the FDI, and it's very interesting to just scan that and see, because it looks like, when the PMI is going down, the FDI is leading it, and when it's going up, it's following it. It's sort of interesting. It's a little different to the way it used to be in the past.
It sure is, and Bob does a really wonderful job with that, especially now that we're in our 6th year of gathering data for the FDI. It's becoming, I guess from a statistical standpoint, a little bit more meaningful. And Bob's analysis is right there for everybody out at the FDI website, which is www.fdisurvey.com. If you are a North American fastener distributor, please click on the requested invitation button. We'll get you some credentials to log in, and we'll shoot you an email every month when it's time to fill in the brief survey. We could certainly use your input.
Right. It just doesn't take that long. And if you're out fishing, you can fill it in on your phone, okay? In the unlikely event of a water landing, okay?
These are important things to know.
Right.
The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. And Lindstrom. Lindstrom, by any measure. Fully Threaded is also sponsored by 3Q, Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, Fastener Technology International, InSequel Software, the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, ND Industries, The Worth Group, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Please let us know what you think of the podcast, folks, or if you have updates or intel we can use. We always appreciate it. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. If you want to be a little bit more public about it, we hang out on Twitter occasionally where the handle is Fully Threaded. Hey, Bri, I was listening to the playback of the top of the show before we turned the recorder on to wind this one up, and we were talking about the NIFS show coming up in October, and I was mentioning that there was this counter clock on the website. Yeah, it was like 16 days and, so many.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, folks. You've got a little more time than that, okay?
You do, but I realized what the counter was counting down to. So if you want to get the discount, everybody, that's when you need to get out there. So the website is fastenershows.com. Don't worry, you've got 50, 60 days till the actual show itself. But if you want to get that discount, make sure you get yourself registered. And wanted to point that out because, I was scratching my head. Why didn't you stop me?
I heard that. I actually thought about it. I was like, oh, God, now people are going to be worried about the fact that they've got to go to the show in September. However, it's all put straight now, okay? September would have definitely been a big problem for me. Got so much crap on.
Well, see, this is a good reason why folks should listen all the way through to Fully Threaded because, we tie up a lot of loose ends at the end of the show every time, don't you think?
You mean the mistakes we make while we're doing it? Right, okay. No, we never make mistakes. No one makes mistakes, okay?
Yeah, we haven't had a screw-up of the week for a long time, and it won't happen this one either because I think this qualifies as a catch.
Okay, good. I don't want to have one of those for a while.
And before we do make a screw-up of the week, why don't we say that's going to put this episode of Fully Threaded Radio in the can.
Whew, just in the nick of time.
Yeah. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, stay dry, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yes, we will.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fasteners Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
Thanks for calling Fasteners Clearinghouse. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hello, my name is Vladimir. I am friends with, you call him Joe Poplinski. We just call him Joey P around here. But anyway, he says I can get some threaded rod from you. I'm looking for some rod on the bigger side, somewhere around an inch or so. The kind that is good for beatings. I mean, for fastening things. Yeah. So give call to Russian consulate. We'd like to make a good deal for you. Thank you.